What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Jackrabbit. I know it's been a little while. I apologize. But I'll explain here in a second why I've been gone for a little bit. But I'm back. I'm going to try to get videos done as I can, which I will explain why here in a second. But the actual reason for today's video, so you guys know before I get into where I've been, is I'm going to talk about how WWE contracts work and the difference between releases and non-renewals, because there is a big difference. Well, it's not a huge difference, but there is a difference. Okay, so I'll just explain what happens when someone's released and when their contract's not renewed, or if they choose not to renew it. No, they can't come up to a deal, because we never really know who chooses not to renew. Which end is it? Is WWE choosing, or if it's, And then I will also talk about the Alberto Del Rio of it all. I'm not going to call him what I usually call him. It's not very nice. But, okay, so what's been going on with me is I actually managed, and I don't know how, but we'll just add it to my health issues I've had, as you guys has been documented on the channel. I tore a right muscle in my hip, and it hurts. So it's kind of hard to stand to do videos, and I've got videos. I've got some figure arts I want to do, some message figure arts I want to do, some other videos, but as I said, it's going to have to wait till after my leg heals. Like, even just doing this video, I can kind of feel it, so I'm going to try to make this one quick for you guys. I apologize. I'll upload it when I can. I do have a Cosmic Fury Morpher review that I filmed before it really started to bother me bad, that I will upload as well at some point. But okay, back to the contract stuff. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the contract stuff and then Alberto Del Rio. Okay, so the difference is, so when someone's contract is not renewed, that is it. W's done. They don't get any money whatsoever. Okay. So they get nothing. They just go on and they can do whatever. They can go work NXT. They can go work. NXT. They can go to TNA. They can go to MLW. They can go anywhere they want. They can go to AEW, Sexual Ring of Honor. They can go wherever. But they can also immediately start working for whatever company that is and start appearing on TV right away. Now, when someone is released, they cannot do that. Okay, so they have a non-compete clause in all their contracts. Now, if it's NXT, it's a 30 days, so a month, basically. And then a 90 days, or 3 months, for main roster. Don't ask me why, there's a difference, but there's a difference. Okay, and there, it's a little bit different. So you can't work or compete. You could do indie shows, like your smaller local indie shows, like the one we have here or in the city I'm from, Pinfall Wrestling, which I've watched one show, actually. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, you can go work for the indie promotion. No problems, no worries. You can work those. You're not going to make those. You usually probably aren't going to make a ton. But you could go work at those right away. Now, as for, but you can't work televised. That's the rule. You can't work televised for however long. We'll just say main roster for 90 days. But here's the thing, though. If they are released, they get 3 months severance pay, or 30 days for NXT. So they're still going to get paid for 3 months. So while they're unable to make televised money, they're still being paid. So, I'll just use Dakota Kai. So, yes, she can't go work for AEW right away. I think a lot of people don't realize this. They're still getting paid for that 3 months. Then once that three months is up, then they can go do whatever they want. And then they're free to sign with AEW, MLW, NWA, wherever they want. And start getting paid from them. So they're not just, when they get released, they're not just cut, dry, cut and dry, They're done. That's it. Bye. No money. No nothing. You're on your own. See ya. We're done with you. No. They're still going to get paid for a little while. So, and when people say that people are released, I saw it with Shotzi. Because Shotzi was a contract. Her contract was not renewed. A lot of people were saying she was released. She was not. Her contract was not released. That is not being released. Okay. There is a difference. As I said, contract renewals, you don't get paid. You don't get nothing. You can go do whatever you want. She could sell it on AEW this Wednesday. And there's no issue. Okay, so as for... Now let's talk about Alberto Del Rio. I'm trying to be nice and be formal here. I have a nickname for him. It's not nice at all. Well, it's not terrible. It's not like what I call Nia Jax. Again, not going to say that on here because I'm trying to be proper. Okay, so what's going on with Alberto Del Rio? He is technically the current AAA Mega Champion. And there was news broke that a bunch of AAA, and as AAA is working on purchasing of AAA, they are already starting the process of fixing all the AAA's contracts. That's actually what they're doing. Okay. And just because they get a contract from WWE for AAA does not mean they're automatically going to be showing up on WWE television. Now, I do see some showing up on WWE television. One being, and he already did at WrestleMania, Vikingo. Vikingo, or however you say his name. If I messed it up, man, I'm sorry. I love you. Dude, you're awesome. But, yeah. Now, them, yes. I can see him and some other ones, I don't know their names, very well, showing up on WWE television. Now, Alberto Del Rio, probably not. He's very much blacklisted. But because they purchased the contract, now this is going to be similar to how when they purchased WCW's. They could still choose not to go back, or WWE could choose not to take them. But right now, they're just trying to get, what they're doing is they're reworking the AAA contracts to be WWE contracts. And there are things in WWE contracts that are not in AAA contracts. And that's all they're doing. Okay. I don't know all this rumors about what was it again? Oh, them having to speak English more and changing the style to the American style. I don't know anything about all that. And if something more concrete than, just people rumoring about it comes out, I'll talk about it. But as of right now, I can only go about what information I've been given. And at this point, this is what the information we have. They're just reworking the contracts, adding travel stuff in there for their DVD stuff like that. They're not doing anything like... Alberto Del Rio is not going to be showing up on Friday Night SmackDown this week or anything like that. No. I doubt that. So if Saraya comes back, more than likely they will keep those two separated. Paige, Saraya. They will keep those two separated because of that history. Keep them away from each other. And I think Stephanie Valkyria also has an issue with the AAA talent. So they'll probably also keep them separated. Like keep them down in Mexico or something like that. But we'll see how that goes. As I said, as more news comes out and we find out how this purchase and all that is actually going to go through and work out, I'll talk about it. But as of right now, we just don't know enough to really speculate other than them putting people under contracts that are more similar to a WWE contract. How WWE works their contracts. That's all it is. As of right now. As I said, if more things come out, I'll talk about it. But I'll catch you guys later. I can't really talk too long. Special video on Saturday, though. Goodbye.